Do you remember that story in the Bible where Jesus and Peter and the other apostles, they're on the boat and Peter sees Jesus floating in the water or on land and telling Peter to come walk on water towards Jesus? Do you remember that story? Well, I had a very similar experience where in a way I was Jesus, not that I'm Jesus. I know that I'm not Jesus, and my daughter was Peter. So I had gone to pick up my daughter from her friend's house, and she was at the front door, so there's probably like 10 feet between us. And so I tell her, don't just stand there, let's go. And so she came towards me, but as she was walking towards me, there was something that was preventing her from coming towards me. Just like there was something preventing Peter from coming to Jesus, which was the waves and the distractions. In her situation, it was a bee. That's right, a bee was flying around and her eyes were so focused on the bee that she stopped and she could not continue walking towards me in fear that the bee might attack her. Totally normal, understandable, I get it. And so I just thinking, okay, how do I get her to come to me? Because I'm not getting out of the car. And so I'm looking at her and I say, hey, look at me. I'm calling on Jesus here, and I'm thinking, okay, what would Jesus do? And that situation came to mind. So I was like, hey, look at me. Look at me in my eyes and come over here. You can do it. Don't worry about the bee. Don't focus on the bee, focus on me, and you will get here. And she could not take her eyes off the bee. She could not. And so I just felt like I know what Jesus felt like. Like he wanted Peter to come, but he was so afraid and he was so distracted. And then she eventually came to the car, but that moment kind of made me reflect on that passage of Peter walking on water. Like he did walk on water for that very brief moment that his eyes were focused on Jesus, but once he took his eyes off and focused on the waves, he fell in. And just like my daughter trying to come to me so that we can go home, the bee was distracting her, and I know that if she had focused on me, if she looked into my eyes, that bee would not have distracted her. So the moral of the story: concentrate, focus on Jesus and not on life's distractions, and you can come to him just like Peter did on water for that brief moment.